Welcome back to Iraqi dinar updates, where we dive deep into the latest financial developments shaping our world. In today's video, we're exploring a big question on the minds of investors and analysts alike: will Iraq finally join the World Trade Organization? This move could change the economic future of Iraq and potentially impact global markets. Stick around as we break down what's happening behind the scenes, what's holding things up, and what this could mean for you. This question has lingered for years among economists, investors, and political analysts who are watching Iraq's slow but steady steps toward reintegration into the global economy. Iraq officially applied to join the WTO in 2004, not long after the fall of Saddam Hussein's regime, but since then, progress has been extremely slow. The WTO accession process is lengthy, technical, and politically complex for any country, and Iraq's unique political and economic challenges have only made that process more difficult. The World Trade Organization, which currently has over 160 member countries, sets global rules for international trade and is considered essential for integrating a nation into the broader world market. Membership brings benefits like reduced trade barriers, access to international dispute resolution, and credibility in the eyes of foreign investors. For Iraq, joining the WTO would be a major milestone that could open new avenues for economic growth, diversification, and foreign investment. But getting to that point is not as simple as submitting an application. Iraq's economy is still heavily dependent on oil, which makes up over 90% of government revenue. That lack of diversification is a red flag for WTO standards, which expect member countries to have more balanced trade policies and functioning domestic industries that can engage in import and export activities. Iraq has been making efforts to diversify, with some development in agriculture, tourism, and banking, but progress is limited due to years of war, corruption, and political instability. Until Iraq creates a more stable and diverse economic foundation, its case for WTO accession remains weak. Another obstacle is Iraq's regulatory and legal framework. The WTO requires applicant countries to align their trade laws with international standards. This includes rules on intellectual property, tariffs, dispute resolution, subsidies, and services. Iraq's current trade and investment laws are outdated and, in many cases, poorly enforced. There have been efforts to modernize these systems, including support from international bodies like the World Bank and IMF, but implementation has been inconsistent. Lawmakers have faced resistance from political factions that are either suspicious of globalization or concerned about losing control over key economic sectors. Political instability is another significant challenge. Iraq has faced a series of internal conflicts, protests, and changes in government over the past 2 decades. Frequent changes in leadership mean that long-term strategic goals, like WTO accession, often get pushed aside in favor of short-term political survival. Additionally, regional and sectarian rivalries make it difficult to build consensus on big economic reforms. Even when leaders express interest in moving forward with WTO negotiations, the lack of continuity and follow-through has stalled any real momentum. There's also the issue of capacity. Accession to the WTO is a highly technical process that requires detailed economic data, trained negotiators, and a coordinated national strategy. Many developing countries struggle with this, and Iraq is no exception. Despite some external assistance, Iraq lacks the institutional capacity to meet the WTO's demands quickly. Negotiating terms for accession involves thousands of pages of documentation, and responding to questions and concerns from current WTO members can take years. This isn't something Iraq can do overnight, especially while it is still rebuilding basic institutions and services. Still, there are some signs of hope. Over the last few years, Iraq has restarted discussions about WTO accession, and there have been multiple workshops and technical support initiatives aimed at preparing the country for eventual membership. The Iraqi government has expressed renewed interest in opening up to the world, particularly as it looks to attract foreign investment and diversify away from oil. Iraq's engagement with other international economic organizations, such as the IMF and World Bank, shows a willingness to adopt reforms, even if slowly. Moreover, the international community wants Iraq to succeed. A stable, economically integrated Iraq is in everyone's interest. Iraq has a large young population, significant natural resources, and a strategic location that makes it a key player in the Middle East. If properly supported and managed, Iraq's entry into the WTO could be a turning point for its economy. Membership could bring transparency, enhance the rule of law, and improve Iraq's trade relationships with countries around the world. However, it's important to be realistic. Iraq is not going to join the WTO this year or even next year. The process could take several more years, depending on political will, technical progress, and external support. Investors and observers should view WTO membership as a long-term goal rather than an imminent milestone. That said, just the process of preparing for WTO membership could bring many benefits. It forces governments to upgrade institutions, improve governance, and modernize economic policies. So even if the destination is far off, the journey itself can help Iraq move toward greater stability and prosperity. In conclusion, Iraq's accession to the WTO remains a possibility, but it's one that depends on many moving parts: economic reforms, political stability, institutional capacity, and international cooperation. The road is long, but not impossible. For now, Iraq continues to inch forward, and the global community continues to watch. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on Iraq, the dinar, and global economic shifts. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Iraq will join the WTO anytime soon? Until next time, stay informed and stay ahead. This is Iraqi Dinar Updates signing off.